What is the job demand? What is the job? What is the market value of this job? And what is your value within the organization? That's what you've got to.
Yeah, I could say it's a tough sell to go in there and tell the boss, "Hey, I want to buy a new car and I need more money. So can you just pay me more money for no good reason?" That one's gonna fly.
It happens way more than you think it does. I
I
cannot tell you how many times. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
And
you
it's
want to talk
executive level too, right? Like I love your beautiful, flashy, whatever. Like not executive level, like the director level, right? Like we want to buy a new house. Like I need to make more money.
about what do you bring into the organization with this
Right.
liability
You've
upward or
got
whatever
to.
to that's actually bringing more value, that's doing more or showing the value that the true value that you're actually bringing, which a lot of people do underplay sometimes. They are worth a lot more because they are doing a lot more than they know that maybe they're not advertising it. They're not selling it up as much as they should to let their boss know or the executives know, here's what I actually am bringing beyond what the job description says.
Right. And that's where you've got to build your brand. You've got to understand the market. You've got to embrace networking. When you're a great networker in your career, you understand the market better. And and that gives you leverage within the organization. And you have to trust the organization. You do have to trust the organization, but you have to own the journey. There are so many great organizations out there. I looked it up in between breaks. Like corporate America in 2023 made $2.9 trillion in profit. So there is money out there, but we think that we don't ask for it at the right times. We don't advocate for it. And the organization does know they're willing to do great things for great employees, but you have to also be partners with them. And so if you're internal and you love your job, like let's talk about the things internally, how you need to be showing up and the conversations that you need to be having and the trust you need to have in the organization.
I like what you mentioned about, yes, there's obligations from the organization, but in truth, you really need to own your own journey. If you're trying to move up as a leader, if you're trying to go from the manager to the direct, to the VP to
Right.
whatever, and try to get into those executive ranks, if you want it, you're going to have to own the journey. It's not going to fall in your lap, obviously, and just zero sum
Right.
game and cutthroat is it will get you so far, but to some degree, I believe personally that type of tactic to rise up the ladder eventually comes back to bite you.
Absolutely. Right. You've got to talk about how you develop professionally. You've got to think about the relationships that you've cultivated. And I had somebody ask me the other day, when do I know when I should leave? And you can't jump from job to job to get more money because what you miss out on, especially if you're in a cyclical business, like the first time it goes around that year, you kind of grasp hold of it. The second time it comes around, you really get it. The third time it comes around, you're really starting to refine your skills and elevate above your peers and starting to get other projects and other things that that your peers might not be getting. So it's really important that you have a little bit of both. Everybody gets a blip. You know, you shouldn't stay in a job if you are being, you know, if it affects your mental health, if you're being treated poorly, like you should not stay in that job, but you should work through the tough times. You build so many soft skills when business is hard. You build soft skills when you've got a bad boss. Like there are things you learn in every situation.
Yeah. Well, companies make bad hires. Sometimes employees make bad decisions on where they go, and sometimes you just have to cut bait. But if you can work through those, I like that perspective that okay, if you can work through it, come out the other side, and still have some hair that's not gray. You haven't pulled it all out yet, or something, or like I said, you end up with an ulcer the size of Kansas that you end up in a hospital with for a bleeding ulcer. If you can avoid those two extremes, but you can still work through it, eventually, if you skill up, you're not going to be working for the same bad boss forever. Hopefully, you're not going to be working for the
Right.
same. Things will eventually change, get better, work through it. However, so I like that perspective quite a bit. It kind of goes back to the owning the journey. I like that. Is
Yeah.
in your career as a leader, as you go to move up, move out, change, however your growth journey is, that is yours to own.